Hey guys, good afternoon. Sarah Mueller here with Decluttering Club, and I want to talk to you today about what to do when life throws you a curveball. So I'm just going to try and make sure this is straight here. Hopefully this is straight. If you can see me, if you would give me a like or a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know that you can hear me, because I want to make sure that everyone can hear me before I get going. We've had an interesting couple of weeks here, and it has been a little stressful for me. And I know that you guys can relate because I hear, I think it's just kind of life, actually. I think most people deal with stresses now and then, and for some reason, for me, it's been particularly stressful. So let me know if you can hear me. I know we've got a couple people on now, and I have, oh, excellent. Good, thank you, thank you. Oh, and by the way, if there's someone on from the group, if you can share that into our Facebook group, that would be awesome. I would totally appreciate that. Okay, so I have had a number of curveballs thrown at me in the past week, and it has been, you can't hear, oh dear, no? Renee can hear. Renee can hear. Can anyone else hear? We got 11 people on. I'm just going to think, Crystal, maybe if you refresh the page and see if that works, okay? So I have a story. So I have a thing about dentists. I do not like going to the dentist. The dentist is like something that I try to avoid at all costs. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. And I had an issue with a tooth, and it turned out last week that I needed to have a root canal, and I was like, oh, this is just not my idea of a good time, right? Like, it's just not. It's like the last thing in the world that I want to do. But I knew that I had to go forward, and I just decided, okay, I'm gonna be an adult here. I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna schedule. I'm gonna get it over with, right? And so I decided to kind of get that on the calendar and, just get it out of the way. So I'm getting ready to go for my root canal, and I have been reading. Thank you, Allison. I'm glad that you can read. I have been listening and watching and reading to this particular kind of motivational speaker kind of guy. His name is Brian Johnson, and he talks a lot about the concept of what he calls OMS, okay, OMMS. And he says, obstacles make me stronger, okay? So we're not going to, in life, we're not going to be able to avoid obstacles, right? The obstacles are going to pop up, but what determines, what kind of person you are and how you weather those obstacles is how you view them, right? So his idea is obstacles make me stronger. And if we confront obstacles with that kind of an attitude, it can make all the difference, right? And it's amazing. So I was clinging to this concept of obstacles make me stronger. I'm driving to my root canal. Okay, it's a snow day, right? The kids were out of school. I had to make arrangements for my kids. The roads were horrendous, right? I didn't even know if I was going to make it there because where I live, there's hills and the roads don't get clear, and so I don't normally go out when the roads are snowy and messy. I don't go out, I stay home, right? But I had to go out because I really wanted to get this stupid root canal done. So I'm driving there, at a snail's pace, and I'm thinking obstacles make me stronger, right? And Brian Johnson says, face those obstacles with the attitude of bring it on, right? Because I know if I can get through this obstacle, it's just going to make me stronger. Like, if I can handle this, I can handle the next thing. Like, just bring it on, life. So I get to the dentist, and the other thing that I'm doing is I'm practicing gratitude, right? I'm practicing gratitude for things that have not happened yet. So I'm thinking, I'm so grateful that this endodontist is such an amazing endodontist, and I know he's gonna feel like this is the best root canal that he's done all week, right? I'm literally manufacturing these thoughts of gratitude in my mind in advance, in anticipation of having an easy and positive experience at the dentist, right? It's a little bit bizarre, but I just faced it with that, right? And I got through it. It was no big deal, right? Like, it's not the end of the world. and I got through it. Okay, so then we had another snow day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna get anything done? I have 4 kids at home, plus we had a visitor, so we had 5 kids at home. Life is just insanely crazy, right? And I still have work to do, right? I still have things that need to happen, and it's really hard to work with kids around, but we got through. Then today comes along, right? I have got 1 kid homesick, and I'm repeating my mantra here: obstacles make me stronger. Like, I can get through this day. We're gonna get done what we need to get done. Then they call an early dismissal because we're having more snow. So the kids are coming home early, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what more? And then my son opens the freezer and he goes, Mom, the freezer's not working. Like, everything in our fridge and our freezer has warmed up and defrosted, and now I have a broken fridge and freezer. So I'm like, oh my word. I just like, okay, what else is going to happen here? But I'm just facing this all with this attitude of obstacles make me stronger. I can take it, bring it on here. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because I know that a lot of you might be dealing with your own obstacles, right? Like you have a ton of clutter, or maybe you have, sick kids, or relatives are going to be arriving on your doorstep, and you are so stressed out, right? You're like going, oh my gosh, I want to crawl into a hole and die. And so you can do that, right? You have a choice. You can decide whether you want, how you want to face that and how you want to handle that obstacle. Are you going to be a victim and, like I was sort of doing with the root canal, are you going to avoid it? Are you going to ignore the problem until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger? Are you going to, crawl back into bed and watch Netflix or whatever it is? Or are you going to be like, okay, here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. Here's my plan. I'm so stressed out. I can't believe it, but we're going to attack this, and it's going to be fine. And I'm going to come out on the other side, and I'm going to be even stronger. And then I'm going to look back and laugh about that crazy, crazy week that I had when everything went wrong and everything blew up, right? So it's really your choice. And I tell my kids this all the time. You get to choose how you feel about the situation. Maybe you didn't pick the situation. I didn't pick to have snow days, right? I didn't pick to have the fridge break down in the middle of a snowstorm, right? I certainly didn't have it on my to-do list to buy a new fridge this week, but that's okay. That's what happens. And so I get to pick how I respond to it. And if I let that make me into a stronger person, more put together, maybe I'm going to feel amazing when I get through this. And I say, I got all that stuff done, and, it wasn't perfect, but I did it, and I'm still standing. So that is my mantra, and that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. Bring it on. Like, I was literally thinking that when I'm sitting there waiting for the Novocaine to take effect. Bring it on. I can handle it. It's not worse than childbirth, right? It's not worse. It's just dental work. It's just a broken fridge. Like, nobody's dying here. It's no big deal, and it could be a big deal. I could allow myself to make it a big deal, or I could just be like, no problem. I got this covered, and we'll figure it out. So I just want to encourage you with that today. We've had so many people join our Facebook group over the past 10 days or something. We've had thousands of new people come in, and I hope you guys are inspired, and I hope you guys are getting busy and decluttering and just starting to taste that freedom that comes when you let go of the clutter, and when you see, hey, I can do it, right? Like, I can clean up. I'm not a failure. I might have a great big mess, but this mess doesn't define me, and I can do something about it. Because when you act, that is the solution to despair and to just desperation, is taking action, right? It feels so good. And when you're paralyzed and you're sitting there and you're like, you feel like you can't do anything, that is the worst feeling of all, right? And when you can take action, it just makes that all go away, right? And it doesn't mean it's easy, and doesn't mean that it's fun. It doesn't mean that you like going to the dentist or buying a new fridge or looking at a giant pile of papers, but it's so much better to deal with that problem than it is to just let it sit there and try to ignore it, because you know it's there, right? And it's not going away unless you do something about it. So that is my pep talk for today. Obstacles make me stronger. I would love to see you guys using that hashtag in our Facebook group, OMMS, right? That is my total mantra. Bring it on. Let's see. Melanie says, once you get in the right mindset, you can do even more than you ever thought. That is so true. That is absolutely true. Yeah, I was in a group. I was in a group yesterday, and there was a woman who said, gosh, I don't even have kids, and I feel like I can't get anything done, and I don't know how all you people with kids do it, right? And so I responded to her and said, it's all relative, right? Like if you don't have any kids, you're maxed out, right? You're probably maxed out and you think, oh, I couldn't add anything more. But then if you have a kid, then you are overwhelmed and stressed out, but then you kind of get in a routine, you get used to things, and then, it's not so bad. And then something else happens, maybe you have another kid, or, some other minor or major catastrophe happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm like at my limit here. But then you figure it out, and then you get into a new routine, and you're thinking, wow, I can't believe, like 5 years ago, this would have just put me out for a week, but I'm just dealing, and it's no big deal, right? So we kind of adapt to, to the circumstances and to what we're able to handle. And hopefully, if we attack these things and tackle them actively and proactively, then we can rise to the occasion, and you'd be so surprised at what you can do, right? And I'm sure you've had that before, where you're like, wow, I can't believe all that I got done, even though it was a stressful week, right? Crystal says, thank you for the pep talk video. Awesome. You needed it. You know what? I needed it too. I totally needed it too, because I was like, I could either, go and cry and start looking for new refrigerators, or I can go talk to you guys, and it's way more fun to talk to you guys. So that's what I decided to do, right? So that is my pep talk for today. Okay, a couple announcements. We have, I'm doing a live video. My friend Kathy Terrell has invited me to come talk to her eBay sellers tomorrow. So that's going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I will be sharing, I'll share a link in the group, in this post here when I'm done, and also in our Facebook group. We're going to be talking about decluttering tips for eBay sellers, because I guess eBay sellers tend to keep a lot of things around, right? Like if you see something, you buy something that you could sell later, you might end up with a lot of inventory, and it might start to pile up. So we're going to talk about that on her Facebook page. Her Facebook page is I Love to Be Selling, and her name Kathy Terrell, Kathy with a K. So you can catch me over there tomorrow. That would be awesome. And then the other announcement I have is that I kind of quietly launched a new product. Was it 2 weeks ago? I think 2 weeks ago now, and it's called Stop Over Shopping, right? The Stop Over Shopping Seminar. And it has been a huge hit. People are really, really liking this new product I have. It's a 25-minute talk, and there's a workbook and some notes that go along with it. And it's not for everyone, but it is if you struggle with buying lots of things that, and you kind of can't stop yourself, or you buy as a form of retail therapy, or you just feel this need to continually buy, or even like with free things, bringing those home. So that talk goes specifically into that kind of an issue. That one is available right now, and the price is going up on that one on Wednesday night. So I wanted to let you know about that, and I will drop the link into this post as well when we're done. But the price right now is $29. It's going up to $49 on Wednesday. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely go take a look at that before Wednesday, so you can hop on board for that. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Martina says, thanks, Chris. I really need this. I can remember myself. I can adapt to things, but not going crazy if something doesn't work immediately. Totally. Like you need plan B, you need plan C, you need plan D and E and F, right? Like you may have to shift gears 10 times before you figure something out that works, but that's okay, right? You've only, what did I hear? I heard someone say, there's no mistakes, there's only learning. Like let's say your kid, you have a kid in sports, and when they're done with the game, they had a game, and you say, did you learn anything? Like either you won or you learned. So that's all there is. And then you can adapt and, you know, tweak, and next time you try something different. And, you know, that's all we can do, right? That's all we can do, but that's okay. And just that positive self-talk is so, so, so critical. You know, we tend to beat ourselves up, so don't do that, okay? Don't do that. But I love you guys. Thanks for jumping on with me. I need to do this more often. We will totally do this more often, and I will catch you guys in my group later on. All right? Have a good afternoon.